And the board voted, and we decided we're going to try it this year and just I came up with some ideas of how it will actually be really easy for you as well. So, well, I just put this together to kind of go through it because I did get kind of nervous talking. So this whole process is down to a simple 1, 2, 3. And a lot of things are the same. We have the phase 1 and the phase 2 sections. And so phase 1, point number 1 is you're just going to submit your digital files. And then we move to number 2, which is your acceptance phase. You've been judged. And what changes here, there's no framing, there's no packaging issues. We're going to do all of that for you. And in return, what we're asking for is an exhibition fee, and that's based on the size of print you enter. And we'll get more into that in a minute. But anyway, all you have to do is pay, and then the little elves happen behind the scenes and throughout the exhibition. And then at the end, we say, hey, come up, pick up your print. That's it. So on our number 1 here, contents entry, the categories, the description, and the fees are all the same as last year. And the digital requirements are mostly the same, and we highly suggest you read through the rules because just some of the wording has changed, and we've also put in a lot of information in the helpful hints. It's very strongly suggested that you calibrate your monitor if you have not been doing that. And that's for judging and for printing accuracy. So your colors look good. And then a very big change here is the file that you're submitting is the file that we're going to use for printing. So unless you'd like to add a signature later, which that will be part of the notification process, we'll give you the upload information. You'll want to make a second copy so it's identical. Because printing on metal, we're going all the way to the edge of the substrate. So you're going to have to do your own resizing, scaling, cropping, whatever you want to do before entering, so that it fits the size that you're choosing for the metal print. So for example, 12 by 18, you want it all the way to the edges. And then another really great thing that we did, and Glenn was instrumental, is we've updated the online entry system, and we're going to use the membership works, and we'll provide a contest. There's a contest link on the website. And what you're going to do is use your membership login password and ID. And that, as you know, we all had all the prints problems with the entry system last year. So we're trying to see if we can get past that. And then for non-members, they're doing, so everybody should be able to work with that. And then if you won't need to check your status or renew your membership, all of that is right on the website. So check the tabs at the top. And then one other thing that we're recommending, and this is kind of a sneak peek here, but we're going to be working with Ed and Georgia Bennett and Bennett Images in Eagle River for the exhibition prints. And so we strongly suggest that if you're new to metal prints or you're worried about your color, that you just go ahead and order a test print from Bennett Images or White House Custom Color, who will be doing the printing for the exhibition sales and online sales. So anyway, we'll get into that in a second. And before we go too far, I'd like to introduce you to our judge this year. Her name is Jessica Ricks. She's in Missoula, Montana. She loves nature, and she's a photographer and educator. She's an instructor and program director at Rocky Mountain School of Photography. So she teaches a variety of topics and both for hobbyists and professionals, so that fits in our group. And she loves helping people, and you can go ahead and read a little more about her on the website. And the main thing that she is passionate about is ethical photography. So she's going to give us a really great presentation in March when we do the awards. So you can look at her website and check her out. So now in our phase 2, if you've been accepted into the contest, we will again provide the notifications by email, regardless of whether you're in or out. And we'll be adding a payment link so that when it comes time to pay that exhibition fee, you can do that. Let's see. And then a new thing that we're trying this year is we're having Jessica create a reserve list in addition to her selections. And that will be about 6 people. It's kind of a backup list. And what we're going to use that for is, you know, if for some reason a rule slips by or you just don't get your payment in on time, that's a problem for us on the back end because we have a lot of deadlines to create the show, create the book, get the, you know, just get everything ready. And so what we're going to do is if it slips by, we're just going to have to move on to the reserve list and take whoever Jessica suggests as her #1 choice to move into your spot. And I know that sounds kind of hard, but we do need to keep the show on the road. So anyway, so that's what that is, and that's described a little bit more in the rules. And then now we get back to the benefits. And so your exhibition fee is going to pay for the metal print, and ASONP is going to collect that money for everybody, and then we'll just work directly with the benefits and pay for everybody all at one time. And we are the liaison, so if there's any issues with them, we work it out for them themselves. And also with White House. So let's see, and we've been using White House in the past, so we're just going to continue to use them. We thought about using Bay Photo, but they are not a partner with Photoshop. Let's see. So your metal prints are going to be ready to hang. There's going to be an inset on the back and a wire, rounded corners, and there's a few other details in the rules you can read about. But they're just going to be nice, slick, beautiful images. And we expect the quality. We know that are going to do a great job, and it's nice to be in town so we can work things out. And then we also know White House does a great job. So if there's an issue with a customer print, we have some recourse to go back and work with White House. So I think overall, if anybody's worried about 2 printers, it's not going to be a problem. And if it is, I will keep it. And the most exciting news again is no framing or packaging requirements. It's gone. So what we've done is the board has approved to purchase through club funds for gallery pouches, which is a heavy-duty bubble wrap pouch that is designed for artwork. You can buy those on framedestination.com. And then I've also found some high-density foam sleeves from Uline that we'll use to flip over the artwork before it goes into the pouch. So these are reusable, and it's an idea to help minimize all of the crazy packaging on your end and on mine as well. And then the last part I mentioned is all you have to do is be ready to pick up your print when we announce the day and time. And if you're an out-of-town person, you can certainly arrange for shipping, and that I would just work directly with you on that as a case-by-case basis, and then you would cover the cost. So pretty easy. And then you just have to watch the e-news and the webpage for updates. And I just wanted to bring this up for new people, but it's kind of a reminder that the mission statement, the main goal of the last while there to celebrate the beauty and world wildness of Alaska and to promote amateur and professional photographers. So some of the benefits to a photographer is we have an easy 1, 2, 3 program where you don't have to do very much work at all. And we're sharing beauty. Your images are being judged by a professional, your opportunity for prizes and improvement, exhibition experience for resumes. Carl mentioned that in one of his presentations in the spring. If you're ever applying for a artist in residence or any kind of other type of thing you want to have for a resume, and you have the opportunity to sell your images for us. And you can also learn behind the scenes some exhibition techniques and learning about hanging a show, working with venues and meeting other members. And then the last while, we're trying to support you. And we're promoting Alaska in our awesome photography. And then sharing the talents of the juror, because not only are they judging your work, they're, giving presentation, a lecture. You can look at their websites and, contact them to get more information. And then this kind of promotes extra topics to learn about. This year, maybe calibrating your monitor or use getting test friends or any kind of other thing like that. And we're trying to, increase the exposure of the club. And then I've already talked about relationships with galleries and venues. And this is the beginning of the 36th year. And then I also wanted to talk a little bit about, people have questions about the pricing when we sell prints. And there's a lot involved behind the scenes. And so what this little chart shows you is we commit to paying the photographer first. And unfortunately, this year the number went down. It went from about 50% to 28%. And a lot of things go into that. First of all, metal prints are more expensive. Then you have the economy with pricing, shipping, all kinds of costs going up, inflation. That's what we're looking for. But what we can do is we can commit to that 28%. And as you look across the pink buckets, you'll see a video. We have to budget for at least the highest venue that we had is 40%. So if you add that together, that's 68% before we even pay for the print. And then the print costs are by size, and that varies. And there's 36 prints in the show. And I think we have 1 to 10 sizes, a handful of sizes. So that's quite a bit of variety. And then where we ship the prints to when it comes to revise them, to be in the lower 48, it's on the East Coast, it might cost a little more, or shipping in Alaska might cost a little more. So that varies as well. And we are a nonprofit, so if there is a little tiny percentage left over, that's going towards our travel expenses, promotional materials, and exhibition prep materials. So at the end of the day, up till now, I'm taking a guess, we were maybe breaking even, or maybe we were covering some costs and not really, or not covering the costs. So we're trying to work that out. So what comes out of that is, again, the easy 1, 2, 3 for you, and that we're taking care of it all. And I think that's a pretty fair deal for what we're offering. So again, 1, 2, 3. And that's the end of my little chat. Does anybody have any questions? Is that Kathy?
Yes. Are the entry fees still the same?
Yes, yes, all the entries are exactly the same, and, we've separated that page out. So you'll find it in the rules, but also on the website, there will be a link just right to that page with the size of the prices. Anybody else? Gail?
So, I just wanted to reiterate what you had said, or I guess Glenn had said in the meeting about the 28% with the higher cost, the higher price that people will be asking for the metal prints if they're sold, then we're not, the town really isn't losing any money. It's not, we're still gonna get more in a commission for a metal print at a higher price than we would at 50% at a lower price.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's important.
Yeah, okay, so Gail is saying, this is for Zoom people, that, you have to take into consideration that metal prints are gonna cost more, but you're also gonna make more. So even though that little 28% feels lower, it's only gonna take one sale and you're breaking even. Oh, and I missed a very important detail, the Bennett's have kindly, they're giving ASONP a discount and they're waiving the setup fees. So, that right there is really great thing, and they're in town, so if you have questions, we can, we're trying to make it a learning experience as well. So,
An estimate, just estimate of cost of a nice metal print first. When we would print our own prints, the print itself was expensive, then the backing and printing was really expensive. How could a metal print be more money than that?
I think, okay, so the question is whether the framing of a paper print is more or less expensive than a metal print, and I think it comes out in the wash. I don't think that the metal prints are, once you factor in the fact that it's ready to hang, it's not.
Your cost would be probably maybe less.
Yeah, the cost might actually be less.
Yeah, we got a suggested pricing rules. And I think when you look at the layout of the printing cost nowadays.
Yeah. Right.
End up probably being less for 12 by 18. Smaller cuts. I was in shop last time I guess.
Well, we always.
And then with the suggested prices, what we did is I did take some time and looked at some professional photographers who are selling metal prints. And the ones that were lower are ones who do not maintain a gallery space. And then so they can charge us, but then the ones that have a space, they're, obviously not to cover their costs. So I was just shooting to try to find numbers where we're right in the middle and really trying to make it just the best deal for everybody. And all we can really do is try this and just see how it goes and then make judgments as we go.
For cost of print, those 10%. Then we got the associated characters. So that's pretty close to 14%. So we have 28%, 40%, and 14 doesn't leave a lot of money actually for print itself. And like Gail said, we did a comparison. And, if you were to submit a 12 by 18 print, you'd actually come ahead with the 20%. The commission to the photographer than you would have by 12 by 18. Maybe clarify some of that.
Did anybody else have questions? Is there anybody on Zoom that has questions?
I don't see any questions. Come up take over. If anybody has a thing for Jen, I put together, grab this. I did a video
Oh, great.
and it's going to be posted on the website as well. And this is going to be how you enter your images on Alaska Wild this year.
Can I have this for just a second?
Yeah.
I just want to take the time to thank Jen and Glenn for all the hard work that they do on Alaska Wild. I don't think they get near the credit. This is a tremendous amount of work that's all volunteer. So, you know, and particularly if you have in the shows and you can take the time to help set up or take down the show, it's highly appreciated. But just once in a while, you might just take the time to thank Jen or thank Glenn for all the hard work that they've done on this program.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, I'm going to play this video. It's, I believe Alan has already posted it to the website. So we'll give it a shot here.
Alaska Society of Outdoor and Nature Photographers. This video will be a presentation on how to enter the Alaska Wild 2023 photo contest. We're currently at the ASONP homepage. From here, you go to the Alaska Wild 2023 tab and click on it. This is the Alaska Wild 2023 homepage. All contest information is here, including important dates for contest entry and deadlines. The most important thing for you to do on this page would be to start off by reading the rules for 2023. We're shifting the metal prints this year, and it's highly advisable that you thoroughly read through the new rules for 2023. Jen's done a wonderful job of preparing the rules. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions regarding the rules or any questions on submitting your images after reviewing this video. There are 3 ways to enter the contest. The first is through an online form for members, which we have done through our membership work software here at ASONP. The second is through the online form for non-members, and the third is an offline PDF document that you can mail in directly. You can also fill out information on that form within the website. For the purpose of this, we are going to use the online members form. When you select this will open the 2023 Alaska Wild entry for members. You will need to click on the 6 ravens to enter your images. If you click on the first raven, it's going to give you some information about how to enter your form, and you're going to have to sign in to Membership Works to submit your images. This will be using the same email address that you use to sign up for ASONP. I am entering my email now. I know my password, but if you did not know your password, you can click on need a password, and the system will send you a password to sign in with. Now that I'm signed in, you can see that the box for the first image has expanded. I'm going to read the text, and we only put this text in for the first image. You will input your first entry into Alaska Wild by selecting the add button. If you need to add additional entries, click on the second image and so on. When finished with all your entries, scroll to the bottom of the page to enter your contact and payment information. After your payment selection is completed, you will be directed to Dropbox to upload all of your entries. Most importantly, please label the files that you upload with the title of your image submission entered here. I have pre-selected a couple images for this demonstration that I will show you now. As you can see, the first image is called Clear Crossing.jpg. The image dimensions are 5,400 pixels by 3,600 pixels with a resolution of 300 by 300. If you do the math here, this equates out to an 18 by 12 inch print. So I'm going to enter Bear Crossing here in the title. You do not need to put the JPEG extension of the file, just simply put Bear Crossing. The category I'm entering this in would be intimate landscape. This print is for sale, so I'm going to go with the default. If you select the print size as a drop-down menu, and since I did a 12 by 18, the print just like that size. And if I'm selected during phase 2, which is basically you've been selected for the show, I will add my signature to the file. I have not done any digital manipulation or artistic creative purposes, so I'm not going to enter anything in the box here below. Simply going to select add. Once I do this, you can see that it's put 1 here, and down below here it shows that I have added the first image, and it was for $15. Now I'm going to add the second image, and the cost of the second image, third and fourth through 6 or $10 each, as we have done previously. So going back to my finder here, I'm going to click on the second image, and this one is called eagle-eye.jpg. The dimensions are the same, 5,400 by 3,600 pixels. Once again, this is a 12 by 18 print, so I'm going to enter this one. Put in eagle-eye. This would be under iconic elastic fauna, since it is an eagle. I do want this to be for sale on the Photoshopper website. And it is 12 by 18 size once again, and I will choose to add my signature, and I will add that. I'm basically done with my 2 entries now, and I'm going to scroll towards the bottom of the page. I look at my pre-populated information from membership works. That's my name, email address, and website. You can change that here if you choose to. If you choose to pay by credit card, you can basically click on these boxes and it will pre-populate your address and contact information. And then you will need to enter your credit card information. Since this is a demo, I'm going to choose instead here to click the pay by check. And if I do that, it'll say click the pay by check and the address you need to send it to, and check must be received by November 17, 2022. Once we hit checkout, the system will generate a email telling you that you have entered the contest either by check or you have paid for it by credit card. I'm going to select checkout here, and this will bring up Dropbox. And select cookies at the bottom below. And once again, I'm going to go to Finder. I'm going to select both my items, and I'm going to drag them into the file submission box. You will need to add your name that you entered in the contest, as well as your email address that you used. Once you click upload, these images will be uploaded to Dropbox. And once that is done, your submission has been completed. You should also receive an email from Dropbox saying that you have uploaded photos to the Last a While 2023 photo contest. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions on how to submit to Last a While 2023. And thank you.
Fairly streamlined, and like I said, just reach out to Jen or myself if you have any questions on how to submit or sizing issues, that kind of thing. We're happy to help you out. And I guess maybe we're up for member slides or do things. So we have 141 slides. Alan's up first.
And we, This was taken last April. Didn't get out very much last year for Aurora. Usually, when I do have the time, it's cloudy. When the Aurora is out, I've got to work the next morning. So only got out really just a few times, and this is one of the images I got. And breakout out of Portage Lake. I really like how the mountains were reflecting in the open water in between the ice. Oh, I got a few pictures that day. And Lupin down by Portage. And went down around Cooper Landing, and I believe a couple of these were taken with my iPhone, but I really liked how the watercrops were showing on the leaves there. And then I stopped at Court Street Campground there, the little day use area, and sun was setting that day. Lake. And on the way home, I think everybody knows where that waterfall is located. And took a trip outside of Alaska. So anybody want to venture a guess where this is taken? I stopped at in my hometown for a class reunion, and decided I wanted to take a drive up to Door County, Wisconsin. And on the way there, use a little tiny town of Alaska. Right behind us to your right was a little bar and grill, but they weren't open yet. I would have definitely gone in there and had a burger and a beer and been open, and told them how I was from the actual state. And something I saw up in Door County at Peninsula State Park was a firewood vending machine. I thought it was cool as all get out. So I hope someday we'll see them up here someday, because they come in handy. I mean, campground hosts, they go to bed at night. This is 24 hours. You can go there 2 a.m. and get more firewood if you need it. And it's $10 a bundle. And I'm a nut for lighthouses, so I definitely got some pictures of lighthouses on Lake Michigan on the Green Bay side of Door County. This was Eagle Bluff Lighthouse. I actually took a tour of this. Unfortunately, you couldn't get it up into where the light is, because the Coast Guard had it locked, because it is an operating lighthouse. But got up to the stairs, they had a plexiglass top, so you could actually see what the light looked like from below. But a bit of history around some of the lighthouses back there. And one of my favorite spots in Alaska is Slant Gulch. Redoubt. And I started playing. I got a new Canon R5, so we got a focus bracketing feature on it. So I decided to play around with that feature a little bit. And another waterfall on along the Seward Highway.
Is that other waterfall along the Seward Highway?
It's one of many. That one was just past the Hope turnout coming back home, heading northbound. Put the tail race. I had your pass. I was kind of disappointed that a lot of the fall color was already past peak. Little Susan River. And part of the getting the new mirrorless camera, getting some of the new mirrorless lenses, I got the 100 and 500. And what better thing to test it on was some windsurfers down on the Pew Creek back there. So this guy was catching a lot of air down there. Portage. Pew Creek. And I decided to end my show with a sunset picture. So this is my last image. I think Kathy was next.
A couple of years ago, I converted one of my cameras to infrared and also began a project of doing some photographs at the landfill, or the old landfill in Eagle River. So these are infrared, these first few are infrared that were converted to black and white. And they are all from that land, the first few are from that landfill. So this is what I do when I'm walking my dogs. This is a tree that's also on a dog walk. It's a willow from the spring. Also infrared converted to black and white. And this is a willow in bloom. Actually, it's after in the late part of the bloom. Well, no, alder. Excuse me, alder. This is at the bridge on the Seward Highway, and it's, I think it's Granite Creek. Also infrared converted to black and white. Turnigan Pass. This is the wetland that is, so it's past Placer River. It's between Placer River and where the road turns up to Turnigan Pass. And then this is done with the conventional camera, digital. Also, while walking the dogs at the landfill on this day, I took the conventional camera. This is my backyard. American red currant. American red currant next to the driveway. These all fit in with the theme that I raised in a viewfinder blog that I did recently, encouraging you to explore the area around your house as opposed to taking some long drive. Try to keep your carbon footprint down. This is along a dog walk. So just, quarter mile from the house. This is infrared converted to black and white. This conversion to black and white was done in Lightroom starting with just a conventional color photograph. And it's from along the road that goes up to the ski area on the adjacent to the military base. Same area. And again, this is a conventional photograph converted to black and white in Lightroom. And this conversion was done in Silver Effects Pro. It started off with a color photograph, and this is different from the others in that it's one of the old style techniques. This is called yellow weed, and then it had a very strong vignette that I added to it. That's it. Pardon?
What camera was that you converted?
It was a Nikon D800E, Conversion was done by Light Pixel.
I didn't want to ask, is anybody here doing the Lightroom Summit or attended the Lightroom Summit that was last week? Well, if you're interested, they have decided if anybody wants to pay for it, you can get all of the classes. And they're gonna extend it another week and a half, but get a hold of me if you're interested. I've been doing it for the last couple of weeks and it's just fabulous. There's about 7 different instructors. It's all Lightroom. They had 5 days of classes and there was about 9 classes per day. And so I have the links if anybody is interested in just checking it out because it is pretty amazing. This was probably my last trip to our beloved bear camp. I took a group of people out there in July this year. And I'd never been around the 20th of July and they didn't think there would be much going on, but there was a sow with cubs that really entertained us for a few days. And we had sort of a mixed bag of weather, but for the most part, we had pretty good weather. I like this picture because I think it tells a story. You can tell that she's really watching these other bears to make sure they don't hurt her cubs, and her cubs just want to be close to her. And then they were digging clams as well. And then at the end of every day, or 2 or 3 times a day, we'd watch her nurse her cubs. Natural Habitat has taken over bear camp and it's very, very expensive to go out there now. It's like $6,000, but we used to pay $2,500 for, so I will miss these guys. Mom always looking out. I did get a chance to just play around a little bit on the highway one day. It was a beautiful day and I've never actually gone over to the other side. Along the road, there's a couple of places where you can drive over to the other side of the ponds, and I just really like this picture. And again, the lupin was just fabulous this year. I really enjoyed playing around with the lupin. And then I got this really super great job working for Raven Air this year. They hired me to photograph all of their communities. So I had a chance to go to Valdez, to Dutch Harbor. This is out of Dutch. I also got a chance to go to Cold Bay. And while we were in Cold Bay, we'd go down to the dock and there would be like 20 or 30 puffins that would just hang out on the dock. And I could have spent my entire 4 days just playing with these puffins. But this is part of Eisenbeck National Wildlife Refuge. We weren't there when the birds really were in yet, but they don't come in until right about now is when they're the thickest there. But it's also really hard to get into Cold Bay when the weather's bad. So, but the fireweed was out and it was just beautiful. And I did manage to have a chance to play with the crossbox, which was fun. And then I had a chance to take a group of veterans out to Brooks Lodge this year for a day. And that was pretty special. We took 6 veterans out and paid all their expenses to go out and play with bears for a day. I hadn't been out there for a long time. Boy, has that place changed. But I always wanted this picture. I never have been able to get it. So I felt really lucky that I did. And it was raining so hard that day. We didn't even know if we were going to be able to get in, but it was fun. And those are not mine. Thank you.
I got a new camera this summer, well, late spring. So I bought the Sony A1 and spent the first couple of months just playing with it. And trying it out, it was a little overwhelming coming from a Nikon 7100. I felt like I went from a tricycle to flying a fighter jet, but I did enjoy it. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So the first the Sony A1 has bird eye autofocus, and so that's what I wanted to play with a bit and see how it worked. So I spent a lot of time at Westchester Lagoon and some time at Potter's Marsh. One of the things I was trying to do was get some of the diving ducks as they were coming up out of the water. So I didn't get the shot I wanted, but it was a lot of fun. And then the one day at Potter's Marsh, I tried to get some of the swallows in flight, and that's really hard, but managed to get, it's okay. And the turns were hard too, but they're easier than the swallows. And then I went to McNeil River this year. This was the second time I put in for it and the second time I got to go. So I feel really lucky. So half of the photos are birds and then the rest of them are bears. This was a nursing mother who was hanging out at camp and right behind the camp. And so we were out there taking pictures, and she graced us by standing up. And one of the things I noticed with in addition to the Sony was I also bought the 200 to 600 lens, which is a really good lens. And I was amazed to see the flies that came out pretty sharp next to the bear. If anybody's ever been out to McNeil, I've been there 2 different times. In July in 2020, I went and they were at the falls, but this time around I was there the end of June and they were at Mitvik Creek, which I really liked much better than the falls because we were on ground level with the bears. And so they would walk right by us. I got to get a picture of me with a bear that came up like right behind me. So I have to get that from one of the people that was there. It was about 5,000 degrees the one day we were there. And this bear was just enjoying the water. He was blowing bubbles and just swimming and rolling over. And then there were 2 adults that spent hours playing. And like I said, we were at ground level with them. So it was pretty amazing. And then probably the best day I was there was the last day, and it was a bonus day because the flights bringing people in didn't make it in. And they actually had a mechanical problem. So we had a beautiful day, and the water was low because at that time we were in a drought. That was before it got rainy. And at low tide, the sockeye were stuck in an area of low water in between a couple of sandbars. And it was shooting fish in a barrel. And we stayed there all day just watching these bears running after the fish. It was amazing. And that's it for me. Oh, this is Joan. Is Joan online? Should I just?
Yeah, just run through them.
I don't know what they are, so I'm not going to narrate, but Joan is in Arizona right now.
I'm guessing that's what these are taking.
I would think so, yeah. Yeah, that's not Alaska.
So we had a drop.
Yeah.
That might.
that, yeah, where did she go? Where did she go? Oh, okay, Silverstone. Okay. Guess we're seeing lots of bears tonight. Oh. Oh, that's nice. It almost looks like a fat camel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I also have pictures of Luke and it was amazing this year. Are we good? Okay.
Wow.
No, that's not Julie. These are pictures of. These are pictures of John Quimby's. Did he make it? I don't see him there. Okay. So, John was planning on being here tonight and he just texted me and he is still at work, waiting on patients. And so he had asked me if I could, help him work on some of his pictures from Cat COVID. He got a job working out there for about 5 days, and so he got one day got a chance to go out and see the polar bears. And so there's just a few of them here, but I told him I was gonna give them to Alan so he could see them on the big screen. So I'm sorry it's not here or on Zoom, but this was one busy bear eating lots of grub there. He said there wasn't a whole lot of meat left on the carcasses, and if you go out late at night, that's when you really see the big bunches of bears. And he only saw 2 of them when he was there. I do believe these are Julie's.
I'm here.
They don't belong to anybody.
I'm here.
What?
It's here, but I can try to play it on my computer. Just a second, Julie.
Can you hear me, Kathy? Kathy,
Here, Julie.
I'm here.
Should I put the microphone next to the, okay, I'll advance the slides, Julie, then I'm gonna give the microphone to Glenn.
Glenn, can you hear me?
I can hear you. You guys
Okay. I can
No.
I can kind of hear you. So I had the opportunity to go to Svalbard with my mother-in-law in August. And it was 2.5 weeks. But the highlight was just doing the circumnavigation of Svalbard, which a couple other, I think, ASONP members did this year. I fell in love with the glaciers. And I believe this is 14th of July glacier. It is more than 60 miles across. So when you think of Alaska glaciers and what we see at Tidewater versus what I saw in Svalbard, it was on steroids. It was amazing and I loved the ice. Go ahead, Kathy.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, got it, okay, so this, yeah, following along with
Okay. So just say next when you want me to advance the slide.
Yeah, go ahead, next.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Svalbard is administered by Norway, but it's kind of a global scientific community. So it was really interesting to see the progression between the whaling and coal development. Really looking for a place to try to offload for North Pole Expedition.
Julie,
Yeah.
mute your computer.
All right, is that better?
Oh, yeah, much better.
Sorry, guys, thank you. I have another meeting, I couldn't make it in person tonight. Go ahead. And one of the things I loved about Svalbard was just kind of the dark landscape. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I love that.
So I took more than 7,000 images, during this trip. So, so I do have other images from the last year, those were kind of the highlights. Go ahead. Looking at textures and lighting and mood and separation. Thank you, Daniel. Go ahead.
Ooh,
And there's a little tiny ivory gull there, and ivory gull is very dangerous, but it was just this kind of spatial and compositional difference, but I really liked. Go ahead. And there were puffins, Atlantic puffins, new species. Go ahead. Stevens, go ahead. And one evening, we had this amazing opportunity to go to a breeding colony of rapid guillemots, so different species of guillemot that we have in Alaska. But you see that tiny little zodiac, and so we were out on the zodiac late at night, watching these birds, and it was a perfect timing because the chicks were diving off the cliff into the water, and now they're just aquatic bird species. And so all you hear this noise, this just cacophonous noise, these little tiny chicks flinging themselves off the rock, sometimes not making it. So the predators were having a great time. But it was just an overwhelming experience, and I can't begin to describe it, but the timing was absolutely perfect. Go ahead. These birds are on about an inch of lunch, if that, and that's where they're having their eggs. And this was just a blow up. There were hundreds of thousands of birds being like. So. And once the chicks fling themselves off the rock into the water, and they're just peeping for a parent, it's the males that find their chick, find down, and the males take them out to the ocean and teach them about life and how to survive. So. I also fell in love with walrus. I've always wanted to go out to Round Island. I still want to try to do it, but this is my first experience with walrus in a while. This is a bachelor bird, and they were just so patient. Again, just hundreds and hundreds of photographs of these guys, including some lovely portraits in water. Yeah, it was just amazing. Go ahead. This was a female, and there was a herd of females with cats, just to the left of those. So, go ahead. We went to 82 degrees north, which is about 500 miles from the North Pole. When you think about Anchorage is 62 degrees north, we were farther north, I think, north slope of Alaska, and we were looking for the ice cap. Go ahead.
and we found it. And we found, I think you can see it here. We found Florida. Go ahead. It was amazing how they would leap from flow to flow. When you think it was just a flush. But this is their environment. And like our brown bears, when they get wet, they'll take off like it's butter. So. Very curious. So, my mother-in-law and I were on a ship. There were 170 passengers. So it wasn't a huge ship, but it wasn't a small ship. It was not a trip that I normally would have taken, but I was very pleasantly surprised at the opportunities that we had for wildlife viewing and that going out in Zodiac and everybody had very similar experiences. It was very well done. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Excuse me.
And I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.
Okay,
Hey, go, Bill.
show me where the button is.
Yeah. Just this
That-
arrow button right there.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Okay, I'm sure happy that we are requesting member slides. So I decided to put 2 slides in on this program. And this was taken, see, I was living in Pittsburgh and I got orders to go to Nome. My first stop was Kotzebue. And this is June 1970 in Kotzebue. And I guess the 2 sisters are wondering why he's got his fly down, but anyways. Yeah. Yeah, I bought my first camera. I sold my 61 Corvette and bought a Nikkormat Nikon camera, my first camera. And this is a high-speed Ektachrome. And then one more slide. I spent, 1970, 71 was the coldest winter on record in Alaska, and it still stands. And I have all the documents to back this up. And I worked from 6 months from Norvik all the way down to Stebbins. So I have a huge collection of a lot of snow and cold. And this is, anybody recognize where this is? This was taken first week in May, 1971. It's the furthest west village in Alaska. Wales, on the Seward Peninsula. This is Main Street, Wales. Yeah, first week in May, 1971. And I like how the wind has pushed the icicles on that house. You can see the winds. Yeah, you can't beat Wales. If you want to see, you want to be exposed to wind. It was absolutely amazing. And gosh, so many memories. Teacher, Mr. Christensen, went out, our slides going all the way out to the open water on the Bering Strait. It was just absolutely amazing. Anyways, yeah, that's a slide. Wow. Okay, back to reality. I was, this is, anybody knows where this is? Kenai Fjords National Park.
I went out on the tour, 23 September. And the captain announced that this was the first day in 2 months, and that is a fact. This past summer, where you could actually see the sun. This was my worst summer. The first half was dry and hot, and I have severe pollen allergies, so I stayed in my house. And then the second half of the summer, we all know what happened. It was all rain. So when he said that I decided to get out on the stern of the boat and get a shot of the sun. First time in 2 months. Oh, everybody knows where this is. Whittier. A rainbow over Whittier. Wow, who would ever imagine such a thing? Beautiful Whittier. It's going to be destroyed. Anybody saw the news on Monday? Phase 1, 2 more cruise ship terminal way over on the far northwest side of the head of the bay. It's going to be unbelievable. Oh, talking about Prince William Sound, actually had a clear day. That's a clear day this summer in Prince William Sound. Looking back towards Passage Canal, way back there where it's even foggy, that's where Whittier is. So it did get something there. Here, it's a happy oyster catcher. What's he doing with an empty shell? I mean, this guy's got a problem. Okay. Everybody knows about global warming. This is Chiniga Glacier, my favorite glacier. Been going out there since 1990. It is now 90% on land. Unbelievable. You can see some calving there behind that iceberg in the front. And there's one of its glaciers, or one of its icebergs sitting on, this is from Icy Bay. Okay. That's not Joe Biden, but this guy is giving a shoulder rub to this guy. Yeah, we're talking about you. There's a young, this guy is really young, he's nice and dry. You don't see that too often. See him dry. And getting close to the end. Oh gosh. And I've done videos about this. Anybody know where this is? Prince William Sound, where? No. This is Columbia Glacier, the West Branch. And I have a whole program on Columbia Glacier with video. And this is the West Branch. And you can see on the far left, that one's totally out of the water. And the two on the right at low tide, they are out of the water. And there's only one branch that's actually touching the water, that's tide water. So, you know, the West Branch, well, take a look. Hardly any icebergs. Duh. So you got the East Branch, and it is calving like crazy. So, yeah, this is my favorite place to go, and I said I've been documenting this. I think it was 2000 where you could finally get across the moraine and actually get in there. But yeah, it's unbelievable what's happening. And I think that's the last one. It's one of their icebergs. I don't know. I still using just my basic stuff on my 2016 MacBook Pro. That's all I use. I don't do any Lightroom or any of this other stuff. But if I did have some really nice software, is it possible to actually, you know, I still shoot raw, but see how on the top right, it's all blown out. I guess there's some way you could fix that if you have had the super duper software. Okay, I think that's the last one, Glenn, isn't it?
Yeah.
Want to hit the button again, just to make sure?
Sure.
Hit the button again. Oh, yeah. The coldest temperature? In where? Oh, right, 63 degrees below zero at Prospect Creek, which is to the northeast of Fairbanks. And yeah, and I have I have a program that I do on this program about Nome and my time in Northwest Alaska. And I have all the documents about it. It was unbelievable to be out there. Okay.
There, thank you. Well, we have some door prizes tonight. I don't know what they are. How many do we want to give out tonight? Like 3? Oh, there's all kinds of stuff in there. Just bring the box up.
Last 3 numbers are 175.
175. Yay!
Okay. So what, or a lens cap, Nikon 77. Wherever. It's a Nikon. Nikon. Okay. There you go.
Okay,
Okay. And drum roll. 190.
190.
Hey, look at you. You want a lens cap or you want a
Oh, lens, what size lens cap?
77.
77?
Yeah, I can use 7.
You Nikon?
Yeah.
There you go. Thanks, Bill. Okay,
Okay,
last but not least. Unless you want to give away everything. Is 183.
183. Hey, Catherine. Yay. Booker lens cap. Look,
There you go. You bet.
okay. Well, thanks everybody for coming. I'm sorry to say, but I don't know who the speaker is next month. There will be a meeting, I won't be here, so somebody else will be running the meeting. I'm not sure who that is at this point in time. Glenn.
I think I possibly are here at that time, so.
All right, we'll have Lynn be running the meeting, and as soon as I find out from Carl who our speaker is next month, I will get it up on the e-news. If you have any announcements you want to make in the e-news, it's still coming out once a week now. It might be a little bit sparse for the first couple weeks of November because I'll be out of town, but anyway, have a good night. Everybody drive safe. It's probably, oh, Jen. Yes, thank you, Chuck, for submitting your blog. We really appreciate it. And anybody else has anything for the blog, please send it to Alan.
Thank you, Bruce.
And thank you, Bruce. And anything else anybody wants to say? Okay, ciao.
Till next time.
Till next time.